Hi and welcome back to another AnyRPG tutorial. In this tutorial I am going to demonstrate how to add some very cool Assassin Thief UMA armor from Arteria3D. Arteria3D very generously donated the Knight G armor and the Assassin Thief armor to the Lost Soul game. So I'll be showing how we can import high quality professional packages. If you haven't seen Arteria3D's packages yet, they've got some really great priced and fantastic looking UMA armor. It's very high quality and very easy to import into AnyRPG and work with. So if you don't have a copy of AnyRPG yet, you can pick one up from anyrpg.org/downloads in both Unity package and source code format. Let's get started on the import. In the last episode, I imported the UMA Knight armor, and now we're going to start from the very beginning on how to download how to import the Assassin armor. So you'll have saved a Unity package with the Assassin armor to your hard drive. You'll want to go to the Assets menu and choose Import Package, Custom Package, find the Assassin package on your hard drive, and click Open. Unity will take a second and decompress it, and then you'll want to basically just import everything in here. So I'm just going to click the Import button, and it is going to create a few folders, and I'm just going to move them all up into the armor directory here that I have, just to keep things organized. I've got third-party content, so we know what I've created versus what I've downloaded from other sources so that we can credit them properly. So once that's imported, you'll see a couple new subdirectories here. So I'm going to move the Assassin up into armor. I'm going to move the Viking Male UMA Arteria3D pack up there, and I'm also just going to move the Arteria3D directory up there as well. So now everything that we've imported is sitting nicely under that directory. The next thing, or the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to remember just to go add all this stuff to the UMA global library. So we're going to go to the UMA menu here, and we are going to look for the global library window. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take all of these directories and drag them into the drag indexable assets here box. So start with the Viking one, then do the Arteria3D one, and then pull in the Assassin directory. Looks like the Assassin directory is the only one that has assets. As you've seen, the assets are now added and our asset counts changed. We can safely close this now, and you can see that it says wardrobe recipe beside things here, which means that it was successfully imported. So the next thing that we want to do is figure out exactly which slots we want to add. So let's just open up the demo scene here. In the scene, there's an item called the Assassin. I'm just going to hit F to focus on that. This is the Assassin character, and this is basically all the recipes for it. Let's hit select to see which prefab this is pointing at. It's pointing at the UMA dynamic character avatar. So what I actually want to do is I'm just going to make a prefab of this so I know exactly which items I need to add. So for that, I'm going to open up my game menu, and I'm going to open up my prefabs menu and my character menu. And I'm just going to temporarily pull this Assassin into the character player subdirectory and click on original prefab. Now I have a prefab that has the recipes on it, so now I can go make some items in my game. We're going to make a set of armor, and the easiest way to do that is basically just to base it on some other armor set that's already in the game. So to do that, we will be looking for the Earth Dwellers leather armor, because this is a leather armor set, and we'll be looking specifically for the armor type here, and we'll find that's under the resources, a lost soul shared item, equipment, armor, leather. So you can see that we have this set of leather armor here, and this isn't the visual part, this is just the part that takes care of the stats and the item quality and the fact that, you know, this is an item that you can buy and sell and can drop from monsters and stuff. And then those are linked to these UMA recipe profiles, which actually contain all the UMA slots that are associated with this for the different races and genders. So we're going to highlight this right here, and we are going to hit Control D to duplicate it. And this will give us a full set of basically Earth Dwellers gear. Now, because this thing comes with a cape, we will want to make one additional item, and we're going to put that in the cloth directory here. Now, let's see. I don't see the initiate's cloak. Let's just find where I put the initiate's cape here. So the initiate's cape creates an initiate's cape. Here's the equipment. I have the initiate's cape under accessories. Okay, great. So what we want to do is find the initiate's cape, find the one that's under equipment, hit Control D to duplicate it, and we are going to call this cape the Ancient Cape. We'll change the name up here to Ancient Cape, and that'll be good for now. We'll come back and after we've created an UMA context, or I mean an UMA item for that. So next we're going to take all these Earth Dwellers leather armors that we've created, and we're going to rename them to Ancient Leather Armor. Ancient Leather Belt. Ancient Leather Boots. Ancient Leather Bracers. Ancient Leather Gloves. Ancient Leather Headband. Ancient Leather Pants. And Ancient Leather Shoulders. We'll want to make sure that the names also match up here because these are the keys we'll be using to look them up. So we'll just replace the word Earth Dwellers with Ancient in all of these items. Okay, good. And then we'll change all the descriptions too, and this will just say leather armor from an ancient temple. And what I want to do is basically just select all those and then just paste that description in. And now they all have the same description, which is good. All right, so then the next thing that we want to do is make the UMA recipe profiles for them, where we will associate all of the UMA slots with the items, and I'm just going to change these UMA recipe profile names in here as well to match. So we want ancient leather belt here, ancient leather boots, ancient leather bracers. I don't know if this set has a bracers, so I'm just going to leave that for now. Most of them don't. Ancient leather gloves. And in this case, we're going to call this the ancient leather hood, and I'll change the name here to ancient leather hood. And we'll change the name there to ancient leather hood. Then we want to change this to ancient leather pants, and change this to ancient leather shoulders. Okay, great. So now we actually have to go create those UMA recipe profiles. So for that, we've got some Earth Dwellers leather recipe profiles. We're looking for UMA recipe profile, so then we can drop into that folder. And I'm going to select all the Earth Dwellers gear and hit Control D to duplicate that. These UMA recipe profiles will contain the links to all the different slots that actually make up this gear. So we've got ancient leather armor, ancient leather boots, ancient leather gloves, ancient leather pants, ancient leather shoulders, and then we'll just want to change the names up here to match. So put the word ancient as the first word of each of these resources here. Okay, now we'll also have a belt for this because we didn't have a physical UMA slot for our belts previously. They were invisible. So we're going to make one called Ancient Leather Belt. And what we want to do is just select all these and set the UMA recipe to none temporarily. This field will be gone by the time that you're able to download this package. We're using this UMA recipe list now, so you won't have to worry about that part. And let's see, we have the armor, we have the belt, we need the hood as well. So we'll just duplicate any one of those and create one for ancient leather hood. Set that to ancient leather hood. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pieces of gear, which is right because we just don't have the bracers. And then we of course have the cape as well. So then the next thing we need to do is actually assign slots to these things. For that, I'll use a second inspector window over here. You can get that by just clicking this drop down here, going Add Tab, Inspector. And now we want to look at the Assassin, lock that, and then now we know basically what we need to attach to the character. These are the items we'll be using. So we'll go down to the ancient leather armor here, and it looks like our armor will need to be consisting of a tabard rigging, a tabard cloth part, as well as a chest belt, it looks like. So potentially as many of 4 of these things. So let's see, we want the Assassin tabard rigging. The Assassin tabard cloth part. The Assassin chest belt. And I think actually that's it. Yeah, so 3 of them. Okay, and then next up we want to do the ancient leather belt, which it looks like is just the Assassin belt recipe. So we'll create one UMA recipe link there and look for the Assassin belt recipe. For the boots, it looks like it's just straight up Assassin boots, so we'll create one UMA recipe link and link that to the Assassin boots. For the gloves, we will, I believe, just need one recipe here, and that's just the Assassin gauntlets recipe, it looks like. So the Assassin gauntlets recipe. For the hood, it looks like we have the hood and the mask, so we'll need 2 for that. So we'll use the Assassin hood recipe and the Assassin mask recipe. For the pants, I believe we have 2 trousers. We have trousers recipe and trousers pouch recipe. So we will link to the Assassin trousers pouch and the Assassin trousers recipe. For the shoulders, it looks like we'll just need the Assassin shoulders recipe. So we will link to the Assassin shoulders armor recipe. Next, we need to do the cape, so I'm going to look for the ancient cape here. And we will need to actually create an UMA recipe profile for that. So I think what I'll do is just hit Control D to duplicate anything in the cloth directory, since this cape is a cloth cape, and just call it Ancient Cape. Change the name here to Ancient Cape. Just blank this out. Once again, this field won't exist when you see this. And looking at this, we have a cloak recipe and a cloak clips recipe. So we will want to add a link to the Assassin cloak recipe and a link to the Assassin cloak clips recipe. That should be good. That's all of them, it looks like. So the next thing we want to do is give our characters a way to actually get these items. So how we will do that is we will add them to a vendor collection, basically. So to do that, we have a vendor collection already called Leather Armor. Let's unlock the inspector here. And we've got the Leather Armor vendor collection. So we'll need to add basically 9 new items to it, because we have our 8 items that make up our set plus the cape. So let's do that. So we'll need to just set the size here to 30. And the last one was the icy leather pants. So here we'll have the ancient cape as the first item. And then what I'll do here is I'll just lock this inspector and type in ancient leather, and this will bring up the list of all the ancient leather pieces here. I'm going to hit Control C to copy this and then paste in each of the names there. So ancient leather armor, ancient leather belt, ancient leather boots, ancient leather bracers, ancient leather gloves, ancient leather hood, ancient leather pants, and the ancient leather shoulders. So this vendor collection is already attached to a vendor. So if we look, we'll see a leather vendor unit here. If we unlock the inspector, we'll see that leather vendor unit has a vendor script on him. And at the very bottom, he's a vendor collection leather armor. And I have a character who's sitting right beside this guy, and we can go test that. So we'll just hit play here on our game manager. And we will load up in the Sun Temple. We've got a fighter class somewhere here. So let's look for our Sun Temple fighter class. It's this guy right here. We'll load him up. Alright, and there's the leather vendor right there. So we're going to walk over to our leather vendor and move to the last page here. And we can see that we have an ancient cape and 8 pieces of ancient leather armor. So we've got 15 gold, which is enough to purchase the whole set. So let's just go ahead and do that. So I'm going to right click on the ancient cape there and then buy each of the pieces of ancient leather armor. Looks like I've got the whole set now. One thing I want to do really quickly before I equip this is I actually want to make a set bonus for it. So if you saw when I hovered over, this armor wasn't part of an actual set. So to do that, let's look for the equipment sets. So I'm just typing in ancient plate because that's an existing equipment set here. We're looking for the equipment set script. So that's going to be under your resources, a lost soul shared equipment set directory. And I have already created an equipment set for the ancient leather, but I just haven't actually added anything to it yet. I'm just going to use the same set bonuses, which is the trait names. So I'll give it 5, and basically we'll copy quick reflexes into the second slot, which means that when you've got 2 pieces of this gear equipped, you'll get the quick reflexes trait. And then I'm going to copy speed of the wolf into the last 5th slot, 0 index. So this is element 4 is actually slot 5, and what that means is when you have 5 pieces, you'll get speed of the wolf. Then we want to actually put in the equipment name for that. So I'm going to just lock the inspector, and I'm going to type in ancient leather again, just so I can really quickly and easy just hit F2 and Control C in order to copy those names and paste them in here. The spaces don't matter because when you look up names for anything in the game, the spaces are all removed from it anyway. So we can just click on each of these, hit F2, Control C, Control V, and go down and add all these pieces to the set list. We won't consider the cape part of the set, it'll just be like a bonus piece. And then what we want to do actually now is go back to all the ancient leather gear. So we'll unlock the inspector and make sure we've clicked on the armor here. We'll hit the X button, and now we're in the same directory with the armor. We're going to select all of the ancient leather pieces, and we'll go down to the bottom and just paste in ancient leather in the equipment set name so the game knows that these items are part of that equipment set. We can save this now, and we can jump back into the game, and now when I hover over these things in my bag, I should be able to very easily see that they're part of this set, as they'll have an expanded description showing me all the pieces of the set. So let's load up our Chapter 2 Tester Fighter class that's at the Sun Temple there. And now you can see when I hover over the ancient leather shoulders, it shows me that this is part of the ancient leather set. So now let's go run out into the sun here so that we can see all the stuff we're going to equip on our character. And I'm going to right click to equip the cape. Nothing is happening there. But the rest of the armor equipped properly, it looks like. Okay, so let's save that, and I just want to compare this to how the set actually looks on the website here. So we'll go back to the Assassin Thief, and it pretty much looks, I think, like everything is equipped there. We've got the boots, we've got the pants, we've got these leg straps with the books, the fingers coming out of the gloves, the shoulders, the hood, the full mask. The only thing that didn't work is the cape. So let's just go take a look at the ancient cape. And that's because I actually didn't assign the UMA recipe profile to it yet. So we'll set that to ancient cape. We'll save everything, and we'll load up the game again. And we'll have to unequip the cape and put it back on, and then hopefully we'll actually get the cape showing up on the character as well. So we'll go back to our fighter at the Sun Temple, who's right there, and just take another look at that armor set there. It's looking absolutely gorgeous. So let's load up the game now. Alright, and what we'll do is we will take the cape, put it in our bag, right click on it again, and wow, look at that. This is the very first time that I've ever had a character with a cape in my game. That is so cool. And just like that cool face mask and everything. Alright. Awesome. So the next thing we want to do is, we want to make our characters earn this armor. So what we'll do is we'll actually make this as a drop off of dungeon monsters. And to do that, what we'll do is we'll look for a loot table. Now, in the last episode, I created a loot table called the Temple of Ancient Energy. So I'm just going to search for Temple of Ancient Energy and find the loot table object that's associated with that. So you can see here that the Temple of Ancient Energy loot table has the plate armor pieces on it, and we want it to also drop the ancient leather pieces. So we're going to add 9 items to this loot table. This is a shared loot table, meaning that any mob in the Temple of Ancient Energy will have this drop table, so we don't have to configure it individually on each mob. So 8 plus 9 is 17. So we got 17 slots here, and then ancient plate pauldrons is the last one, so we're going to start right here. with the ancient cape. I'm just going to lock the inspector here and then search for ancient leather again so that I can just quickly copy and paste these values in here. So we have ancient leather armor, ancient leather belt, ancient leather boots, ancient leather bracers, ancient leather gloves, ancient leather hood, ancient leather pants, and ancient leather shoulders. That looks good. Let's save this item and then go load up our tester who is in the Temple of Ancient Energy. Actually, one thing I'm just going to do really quickly just to demonstrate how we link this loot table back. I've already got some mobs, so I have a ancient spider unit. And my ancient spider unit, let's unlock the inspector here. If we scroll down, we'll see somewhere on him, he's got a lootable character, and we just have the Temple of Ancient Energy loot table under the loot table names. So that means that basically he'll drop everything on that Temple of Ancient Energy loot table when we kill him. So we're going to get quite a few drops here, probably like all the plate and all the leather. Get like 17 drops for this one mob. He's going to be just total loot box. So we'll press play, load up our game, and now let's go find our fighter who's in the Temple of Ancient Energy. We'll click load, and we'll run up the stairs here and go take a couple swings with this spider here. Open up our bags and take all the loot. Yeah, that was a lot of loot. So now let's equip those items. So we'll just search for the ancient ones. Oh, and we've already got a respawn here. I think what I'll do is I'll go run a little closer to the entrance here so I'm not going to get aggro by that guy. And let's keep on equipping the gear. So ancient leather shoulders, ancient leather bracers, ancient leather gloves, hood, and then ancient, no, that's ancient plate. What am I missing here? Ancient leather armor, ancient cape, ancient leather belt, and ancient leather boots. Beauty. So now he doesn't look like a fighter. He totally looks like an assassin rogue here. So let's just head over and take a couple swings at this guy with our cool assassin rogue gear on. Okay, awesome. That looks like it's working great. So the next thing that we want to do is make sure that we're giving credit, definitely. So this set, like I said, was very, very generously donated by Arteria3D, who's got some absolutely fantastic looking UMA sets for sale on their website. So let's go ahead and just add in-game credits for this to give thanks to this generous donation. So somewhere here under a lost soul shared, we're going to have a credits category class, and we've got characters, environments, and voice acting. So I need to create a new credits category, and I'm going to call it armor. So I'm just going to hit Control D to duplicate any existing credits category here and call this new credits category armor. And it'll have two nodes on it basically. The credit name will be the Knight G armor, and the credit attribution will go to Arteria3D, and then we're just going to link over to the website for that. So for the Knight armor, we'll just link to this Arteria3D Knight armor right here and post that in the URL. Then we're going to do the Assassin armor, and once again credit attribution goes to Arteria3D, and we will link to the Assassin for that. So link right there. Let's save this, and this should automatically be picked up in the in-game credits when we press play now. So there should be a new credits category, and if we click on credits, we can see armor is right there, and the Knight G armor is credited to Arteria3D, and the Assassin armor also credited to Arteria3D. We can click on the Knight G armor link here, and it'll open up this guy in the store, and we can click on the Assassin armor here, and it'll open up the Assassin guy in the store right here. So now we have fully added this new UMA armor to our game. We've given credits for it, and we can get it through both a vendor and a dungeon. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you did, then don't forget to thumbs up the video, subscribe to the AnyRPG YouTube channel, or even support the project just by going and taking a look at some of these armors that Arteria3D has donated. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.